We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather, the Turrbal people of Yagara land, as well as the Woiwurrung people of the Wurundjeri land. We recognise their continued connection to the land and waters of this beautiful place, and acknowledge that they never ceded sovereignty. We respect all Turrbal and Woiwurrung elders and ancestors, and any First Nations people here today.
I can't take it anymore!
Good afternoon, good evening, good day, and good morning, Blurtsters, wherever you are around the world. You are listening to the Blurt.
That's right. Hey, Blurtsters. Just in case you can't tell, I am hosting the show today. So please be gentle. I am on my L plates. And for those listening overseas, not Australians, that's a learners. So I'm on my L plates. See this? Look at that. I've got my L plates on. So, yes. So first time caller, long time listener. So that is me. So on tonight's show, we talk COVID, which is quite appropriate because my learned co-host, Kegsta, has COVID. Oh my God. And is now in isolation, of course, and we'll hear more about that later on. Later in the show, we've also got some good news where we lighten the mood and tell you some good news to counteract that crap news that we get every day. And lastly, tonight, we talk about the wonderful Indigenous Australians who have made a mark in this wonderful country in a segment we call Indelible Indigenous. So let's get on with the show and introduce our wonderful co-host, Kegsta. Woo!
Thank you. Thank you, fans and air conditioners. Good evening. Wency, how you going, my friend?
Yeah, good, my friend. How are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm chipper.
I got deeply concerned when you told me over a few days ago that you had COVID. And I thought, oh no, you got it. Hope you're feeling okay.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm very good.
Excellent. So it's good to know that you've had mild symptoms and nothing bad. Because you're all...
No, and I think it's got to do with being triple vaxxed because I've got quite a few friends actually that have had COVID, and just going to try to get this camera to stop doing that. So what I'll do is I'll just bring this light around here a little to see if the camera stops doing that.
Could be the light.
Yeah, it's just a bit annoying. Yeah, I've got a few friends that have been double vaxxed and they've really had a bit of a turmoil with it, as it were. So I've at the moment I've come through quite unscathed. To be interested, to be honest, but it's interesting because my daughter has just been coughing her little lungs out over the last 3 weeks or so.
Oh no!
But every time she tests negative. So that's the thing, you see. Because I went to the doctor's the other day, and he said to me for the whole 3.5 minutes I was in there. I'll tell you about that in 2 seconds. But anyway, that was a hilarious. That was one of the most hilarious things I've ever done. But anyway. He said to me, "Oh yes, there's lots of viruses around at the moment," and because he was an old guy, so and I was like, "Is he gonna croak it before he finishes this?" Because me being me, I don't have a doctor, probably very much like yourself, or maybe not. Maybe you do have your own doctor, but I don't and haven't had for a long time, And so I went, okay, well, where can I actually get bulk billed? Because they used to bulk bill all the time. And I'm just sick of having to pay $100 to go to the doctors. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So anyway, I found this place that you pay, $75, $85 for your first consultation. But after that, everything else is bulk billing.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, sounds good. I'm all right with that. I'm on board. So anyway, I get in there, and this guy, I was like, oh, I hope I get a young doctor, and no, this
complete opposite.
This guy he's got 1 foot in the grave. No, he's ready to he's ready to go, and I'm like, gee whiz, mate, I hope I don't have COVID because that would be horrible for you, from me.
Yeah,
and it was funny because I went in there and he was just like, oh, yeah, sit down, and I'm like, yeah, okay, everything's good, everything's cool, and they said, oh, well, what's the problem? And I said, well, I'm sort of blowing, I'm doing this, and I feel, a bit lethargic, blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah. What? There's lots of stuff around at the moment. There's heaps of stuff. So I went, oh, okay. Well, it could be COVID. What?
Yeah.
Should be in here if it's COVID. I'm like,
so where else am I supposed to go?
I'm like, how do I know if it's COVID? He said, well, you would have done a test this morning, wouldn't you? I said, well, of course. And it said negative, but we both know they're only about 60% accurate. Yes, that's all we've got to go on at the moment. So that's all you need. Yeah. And then,
oh my God.
and I had to get a certificate for work, etc. And he goes, well, I can back that for you. Here you go. Here's your certificate. Oh, thank you very much. And shut the door on the way out. Okay. Oh my God, it was so funny. I must have been in there like, I don't know, 3.5 minutes. It was like, it was crazy. It's like,
wow.
My God.
That's about what, $1,400 an hour.
When you look at it that way, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so he's taken a lot with him to the grave. There's no doubt about that.
Yes,
so.
Yeah. Well, you're lucky you came out with all your limbs and didn't get an amputation or a script for an amputation or something.
Yes. Well, that's exactly right. Right. But no, that was my that was my experience. But yeah, but you haven't had it, have you? But you have been in isolation before.
Have been in quarantine and isolation. So I've been in both. So
has one of your kids had it or?
No one in the family's had it, but the kids' school mid last year had a lot of cases. And so it was when we moved home from mid last year. And the first 2 weeks we had to be in isolation, in quarantine in our new home. So wasn't the best way to move.
No,
we've had a couple of bad habits of moving homes lately. First, it was that COVID quarantine, and now flooding. I know. You can't. You seriously can't win a trip. No.
Just trying to turn my fan on at the moment. Sorry.
That's all right.
I'm dying in here. So
not of COVID, of course, just of heat. Heat exhaustion.
Exactly right. The door's shut. It's a small room, and I'm dying. So,
and is it hot in there?
Oh yeah.
In Melbourne?
Oh, no. It was a pretty good day today, actually. About I don't know, 20 odd degrees or something. It wasn't terrible anyway. No. Very pleasant.
Speaking of quarantine and ISO,
yes.
We're moving stuff out of the old home over the weekend, and we've been putting on Facebook groups things that we want to give away because we don't need like empty boxes, packing boxes and the like. And this lady who came around had her mask on. I wasn't there, but my partner met this lady to pick up these empty moving boxes, and she had a mask on, and she said, "Oh, don't come too close. I've got COVID, and my husband is in hospital with COVID." And Kim's just gone, "What? You're outside? You should be bloody home."
Yes.
So
yes, exactly right. Yes.
Kim just
I could understand
well
the
away from her. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the lady took her boxes and just in disgust, just going, "Why the hell are you out of your house?" Honestly.
No, it's a great question. Why the hell are you out of your house?
Yes.
I mean, I only go into the backyard when the others have left. They give me a little call on the phone and say, we've now left the house. You can now infect it.
Does that mean before they arrive, you've got to disinfect the whole house before they arrive with disinfectant wipes?
Sort of. That's why I don't touch anything. I walk downstairs and try to touch as little as humanly possible, go outside and exercise, and then go back upstairs again, sort of thing.
Wow.
I mean, that's why I'm sort of not, doing any washing downstairs or anything, because anything I touch, I have to keep cleaning. It's easier if they just do it once rather than me have to do it like 3 times.
Yeah.
It was like when I did lunch today and they were out, I sort of had to make sure that I wiped down everything afterwards, sort of thing. But I mean, gee whiz, who knows? I don't know. it seems ominous that if you live with people, sooner or later, if someone's got COVID and you're close enough, you're going to get it, especially with COVID. So
sometimes
sorry, go for it.
I was just going to say, sometimes it's easy if you all just got it at the same time. Then
Wow.
you can just
Wow.
be much easier.
That is exactly how I saw it and exactly how I felt as well. And this is exactly what my boss did at work. He's got 4 in his family, and he's been down since last Thursday as well. And everyone in his family got COVID. But basically what it means is, as he said, you're superhuman for 30 days, because as soon as you've got COVID, you do your 7 days of isolation. That's it. You're done.
Yeah. And hopefully never again. Or if it is.
But if it is, even in the next 30 days, it makes no difference. You don't have to isolate.
Yeah.
Just
exactly.
get on with life and crack on.
Exactly. Well, I think it's time to actually get on to our first segment, which is, or what we're already talking about, COVID. Countdown. That's right.
Yes.
COVID countdown is what we're talking about.
Yes.
Would you like to start first, Mr.
Do you know
Kean,
what?
seeing as you've got COVID? It's up to you.
Yes, I might as well. Look, I might as well. And yeah, enough of me and my COVID, but no, my COVID's pretty good. I've been very lucky. I felt a bit shite last Thursday, Friday, lethargic, and didn't sleep really well for about 2 or 3 days, and I got some really good sleep 2 days ago, and gee whiz, that made a difference. And then I got a good sleep last night as well, so that again made a huge difference. And as you know, with the show coming up at the Comedy Festival, that's going to be on at the Clock Tower, January the 26th, on the 2nd and 3rd of April, which I believe you may be coming to. Is this correct or not?
Absolutely. I booked my tickets today.
Yes!
And I'll be at the show. So, good to go to Melbourne.
Excellent.
So, even better news.
My red underpants. Fantastic for you.
I
Well
can't
done.
wait. I'll get my telephoto lens and all.
Look, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I really hope in my heart of hearts that we get over 50 a night, because I know how big the Clock Tower is. I've seen a few shows there, and it's a decent size. So, if we can get over 50, at least over 50 each night, over 100 would be nice. But if we can get at least over 50, then I won't feel like I'm just acting to one person.
Yeah.
So, but it's already going to be the situation that I'll be able to see people's faces. I know there won't be like 1,000 people or anything. So it's like I'll be looking at people I know. So I've got to try not to do that.
Did they tell you how many tickets they've sold? Do you know?
I've got no idea.
They don't tell you?
Well, no. Rose, the director, may know. I don't. And to be honest with you, I've tried to not know.
Yeah.
I just haven't wanted to know. In the past, I've wanted to know.
Yeah.
And I've been able to find out quite easily. But I'm just letting it happen and putting everything I can in. I mean, as it is, I've got a Zoom call tomorrow night.
You got enough to worry about, I guess. So,
sorry,
you got enough to worry about than knowing who's going and stuff like that. So,
yeah, absolutely, and it's a pretty serious role. So, and I've been out of action last Sunday, and that was a pretty serious practice. So, Anyway, enough about me.
We digress.
More about COVID.
We digress. Yes.
Yes,
Let's get on.
as usual. I wear a dress now. Yes, that's what I wanted to talk about. Exactly what I wanted to talk about. So, China, my favorite country in the world. And I've got to tell you, before Xi Jinping, or as we like to call him here, Winnie the Pooh, before he became commander of China, I really wanted to go to China. I was really interested. I was really interested in the the history and
Yeah.
culture, and I love Chinese food. I love
Mm.
Szechuan cooking and Cantonese cooking, like different styles of Chinese cooking. I've been really lucky. Elizabeth Chung, I went to one of her lessons years and years ago. She's 90 now.
Mm.
I heard her on a podcast the other day. She's unbelievable still.
Right.
And so, I've got all these things that I really always wanted to do, but ever since he's become commander, he has just put me off the country so much.
Yeah, he has, hasn't he?
And
Yeah.
it's a real shame, because I'm sure that the Chinese people, as a rule, are pretty damn cool.
I'm sure they are.
As the same thing with Russia as well. I mean, we know how many fantastic Russian people there are, but just unfortunately there's this group of nut jobs up the top. So, but anyway, this is about China, and this is about COVID.
Yeah.
Yes. So, as we know, and we have spoken about on the show before, China said they have been trying to go for a zero COVID strategy, which I always find interesting, considering, as we know, the actual virus came out of China in
Yeah.
place.
Exactly. And considering the size of that country, you'd think that's just an impossible task.
1 billion people, it seems a bit ridiculous, doesn't it? But
Yeah.
not when you're China, because as we know, we have ways of making you stay inside. So, China locks down city of 9 million and reports 4,000 cases as Omicron tests zero COVID strategy. So the city of Shenyang has barred residents from leaving without a 48-hour negative test result and put all housing compounds under closed management, which basically means if I was in China now, there is no way I could leave my house. And I wouldn't be able to leave it for ages, because as we know, the remnants of the virus hangs around for about 21 days or something.
Yeah.
So
is that what they're going to do? They're going to lock people down for nearly a month?
Yeah, this is exactly what they are doing. So health authorities reported 4,770 new infections across the country on Tuesday. The bulk, which I think is total bullshit. There's 1 billion people there. Seriously.
That just doesn't make sense, does it?
We're getting 20,000 people. We're getting 20,000 between New South Wales and Victoria. And we've only got 15 million. They've got 1 billion, and they're not even getting 5,000. Are you kidding me?
They're locking down a city. Jeez.
I find it hard to believe. Yeah, they're locking down a city that's larger than all of New South Wales. Not just the city, because Melbourne's not the biggest city, but all of New South Wales. So, but just in case you didn't hear that, Sydney, Melbourne's got the biggest Sydney.
Oh, they finally passed them. Yes.
Yeah, we did that a little while ago.
Yeah.
And the growth is upwards as well. Not as if I'm competing. Anyway, health authorities reported 4,770 new infections across the country on Tuesday. The bulk in the northeastern province of Jilin. The city of Shenyang in neighbouring Liaoning province was ordered to lock down late on Monday. So authorities have warned of the risk posed to growth by persistent lockdowns as the country strives to balance the health crisis with the needs of the world's second biggest economy. So what have we got here? We've got, here we go. Jilin's provincial officials announced on Monday that 10,000 doses of Pfizer oral COVID drug arrived on Sunday, marking the first time Paxlovid has been used in China. Well, that's great. 10,000, and there's 1 billion people there.
So what was that? Pax COVID?
Paxlovid. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Is that a vaccine?
I don't know. I'm trying to see if I can get some more information. In the show notes, obviously, I'll put this article, but I'll see if I can get some information on Paxlovid, because it's not making a huge amount of sense to me. But anyway, the Southern Tech Powerhouse of Shenzhen on Monday announced it would lift its week-long lockdown in an orderly manner after having partially eased measures on Friday to minimize the impact of virus shutdowns on factories and ports. Health officials last week revealed only half of Chinese aged over 80 have been double vaccinated.
Wow.
I'll say that again. Health officials last week revealed only around about half of the Chinese aged over 80 have been double vaccinated.
Terrible,
So does
terrible.
that mean that half have not been out of the house for the last 2 years?
Yeah, possibly. Or are they as strict when there aren't that many cases?
I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
As suspected of Hong Kong's dire COVID mortality rates, yeah, I did actually read that. Hong Kong's going through the roof as well, and I imagine that's because China are probably running the COVID protocols, I assume, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's a lot
mainly
denser,
among the unvaccinated elderly hangs over Beijing's decision making. So there you go.
And
China,
just a quick update on that. What that Paxlovid? It's an oral treatment for COVID. So rather than injection, it's oral.
Right.
Yes.
I get it. So it's Pfizer oral treatment, which is Paxlovid.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So that's interesting. It's been provisionally approved in Australia, by the way. I don't know if it's been.
So it's not
available,
it's not a preventative like ivermectin, is it?
No, I don't think so.
No.
It's effective in treating mild to moderate COVID-19 in adults aged 18 years and older who do not require supplemental oxygen and who are at increased risk of progression to hospitalization or death. So,
well, you know, ivermectin is not a preventative, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you agreed. So I was like,
sorry. Yeah, it was the other way. Yes. Sorry.
I was like, no, we don't endorse that on this show.
No, we don't endorse it.
Not.
No, we're not Joe Rogan. This is not the Joe Rogan podcast.
Or Clive Palmer, or Craig Kelly,
or
any of those absolute fat nut jobs.
Yep.
So, actually, talking about fat nut jobs, I saw Clive Palmer's distributors on the weekend. Oh my giddy aunt! What a wonderful slice of society they are.
Who are the distributors?
Oh, of the freedom in the bright yellow t-shirts.
Right. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
The UAP yellow fighters or whatever they're called. Yeah.
Yes.
What were they whinging about? Freedom in what is it? Vaccines mandates and things like that.
I don't know. I wish I had COVID then. I would have sort of just patted him on the back and said, good luck with your campaign.
Would have been good.
Yeah, see how you go. See how you go without being unvaxxed.
Yeah.
But as I think Keating said it really well years ago. He talked about the Senate and he said they're an unrepresentative swill. And I was thinking that this mob are not an unrepresentative swill. They're very much a representative swill of the Clive Palmer Party. So, yes.
And how they get elected, I have no idea.
Well, I'll give you the good news. And this is very good news. I was reading some info on this today. The UAP United Arseholes Party are uniting their assholes, but not enough because their vote is going down, which is good. Because I read quite a few polls today, but we'll talk about that another time. But anyway, that was good news. We've got some of that coming up as well.
Yes, that's next segment.
Yes.
On to other COVID news.
Yes.
On a similar vein to, well, not similar actually. In Queensland, in particular, we've seen a 15% increase in COVID cases in the past couple of weeks.
Wow.
58% of the samples tested in the last 2 weeks have been the BA2 subvariant. And there's 19 school children in hospital with the virus. What else has happened here? Also, there's been 55% increase in Queensland schools. So the school where our kids go to, we got a 55%, correct. So we get from our school principal, from our kids' school principal, regular updates as to the cases. For the 4 weeks prior to Friday last week, being the 18th of March, out of 2,605 students, there were 2.7% of them were infected, of the kids. And of the 275 full-time and part-time teachers, 1.09%, or three teachers were infected in that 4-week period. But
That's not a lot.
it is a lot, but
It is?
considering, well, not really. It's only 1% and
Oh, is
just
that?
under
It's fine.
3. It's pretty good. Still disruptive, but from Friday, 18th of March till yesterday, they already had 28 children with COVID and 3 teachers infected. So in the space of 3 days, they had 3 teachers infected, as opposed to 3 teachers in the last 4 weeks were infected. Big difference.
Yeah, I get it.
So I think this BA2 variant is going to hit hard pretty soon.
It's getting around. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, New Zealand's copping it pretty hard. I think they think that Auckland is through the peak because they got to about 20-something thousand just a few days ago.
Oh, okay.
Which is a lot when you think that the country's only got about 4.7 million people in it. So, you know,
Probably the size of Queensland.
No, it probably is around about the size of Queensland. It's probably about right. Population-wise.
Population, yeah.
Yeah, New Zealand and Queensland about 5 times, I think. If they were allowed to go there. But the other thing I was going to talk about with Queensland as well, wasn't there a tragic death of a 2-year-old?
Yeah, that was New South Wales. Yeah, 2-year-old. That was just a few days ago, from memory.
Yeah, that's just.
I don't know the circumstances and whether the baby had pre-existing conditions.
Yeah,
which is
my heart goes out to the family anyway.
Yeah, very tragic story, that one.
Yeah.
But I think we need some good news, don't we?
We do definitely need some good news. And just before we go there, and we will definitely have some good news, we are going to have a little bit of this.
Hey, this is Hannah Melville Ray from the Australia Institute. I'm listening to the new Blurt with Wency and the Kegsta, and you should be too. It's on Tuesday nights, live from around 8 p.m.
That's right. That was Hannah from the Australian Institute, who was
Yeah,
one
we
of our
miss Hannah.
guests. Yeah,
Friend of the show.
friend of the show.
We got the good news. I don't want no bad news. Don't show me no dirty shoes. I just want the good news. I don't want no bad news. Don't show me no dirty shoes. I just want the good news.
That's right.
We
got
do.
some good news coming up.
We do want the good
Hey,
news.
we
And
do,
my
we
friend,
do.
you can take it away.
I will start off with the WWF, not the.
Beautiful. We're going to talk about the wrestling. Fantastic.
Yes, the wrestling. Correct.
Excellent.
The,
Good.
the World Wrestling Federation
Yes.
of
Randy
Australia.
Macho Man Savage, Jimmy
Yes.
Superfly Snooker,
And who else was there?
the double thumb
man,
somethings.
I used to know all their names.
Well, no, The Rock wasn't in it. It was
No, that was
the Iron Sheik.
Andre the Giant.
Animal, Andre the Giant.
Junkyard Dog.
Junkyard Dog. Yeah, I love the Junkyard Dog.
Yeah, he was cool.
Ricky
Rowdy
the
Roddy
Dragon
Piper.
Steamboat. Yes.
Yes.
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
I don't remember him.
Oh, really?
No, don't remember him.
And there was I'm trying to think who the doubles were. I can't remember what they're called. Oh, damn. Trying to think. Oh man, Randy Macho. Oh, and then you've got Jake the Snake Roberts.
Oh yeah.
And the Undertaker. That was sort of getting towards the end of my watching time.
Yeah.
But I remember all the other stuff beforehand. Jimmy Superfly and Iron Sheik, and that's cool. Very
them
cool.
were the days.
Them was the days, but you ain't talking about that. So
No, I'm not talking about
Crack
wrestling.
on.
I'm talking about the WWF, the Worldwide Wildlife Foundation.
yes,
Conservationists. Wildlife Foundation.
Yeah.
They have bought the fishing license, in the Great Barrier Reef to create a net-free safe haven for dugongs. So
that's gone down very well on the show. That's gone down very well.
That's right. So Northern Great Barrier Reef, they've purchased a sizable portion of the reef, creating a 100,000 square kilometre refuge stretching from Cape Flattery all the way to the Torres Strait. They've bought the commercial netting license so that it'll be prohibited forever, hopefully, as long as they keep the license.
Wow. That'd be awesome if that can happen.
And I guess that now means hopefully by doing that, there'll be a bit of pressure to state and federal governments to start doing similar things around the rest of the reef.
Well, don't hold your breath.
Great idea.
Yeah,
No, cross your fingers.
Cross your fingers, but don't hold your breath.
That's right. So that is some good news. So that means all sorts of endangered animals up there can be protected as well, not just the dugongs. There's marine turtles, snubfin dolphins, sawfish, hammerhead sharks, and there's also critically endangered Bezant river shark that will be protected. So yay to the wildlife in the sea.
Can you get a link for our show notes on that one if we want to have a look at that? Or do you have a picture of what that shark looks like?
No, there's no pictures. No, it's all just the news. There's text. So so that was just done a few days ago, a week or two ago. So
well, that is in particular very good news. One thing I will ask about that: did they say how much they paid for it?
They paid the lower end of six figures.
The lower end of six figures.
Yeah, so that's hundreds of thousands of dollars. Pretty cheap.
The lower end of six figures. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so not even a million.
No, I was going to say that's the lower end of six figures. Six fingers.
Six figures would be
six fingers. Six fingers. No,
we'll blame COVID for that.
Yeah, very true. Six figures is 100,000.
Yeah,
it's 100K.
Yeah.
So if it's the lower end of that, that means.
What do you reckon if we got blurtsters and send out the word with Irrational Fear and a bunch of others? We should be able to spruik up some money and buy more licenses across the reef. What do you reckon?
I reckon that is a really, really good idea by you.
A GoFundMe page.
Yes, I think that is a great idea, and I think we should definitely bring that up with Dan. Dan Elliott of Rational Fear, because that'd be something he'd be interested in. I mean, he's trying to put billboards everywhere, but if he could actually buy a part of the barrier reef, that would be helping his cause as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, we'll have to definitely have to talk to him about that one, I think. But yeah, no, that is good news. That is very good news.
Sure is.
Are we still going?
No, over to you, buddy.
Okay, no worries. Yep. So my good news is that even as you say, in the crap news of the world, there are still countries that are really happy. And I have a list of some of the happiest countries in the world. And what I might do is see if I can put this in my share screen.
Ooh,
and then I can share the list with people if I do this. That wasn't good, was it?
Whoa.
Yeah, that did not work out the way I was looking for.
My eyes were just going like this, just like in the cartoons.
Yeah, I know.
For those listening on the show, I was just doing circles with my fingers, like my eyes were doing.
What I'll do is I'll just try that one more time, and I'll just bear with me. Just talk amongst yourself here. No, just trying to get this.
That was people in the background talking.
Oh, good, excellent, fantastic. That is very, very good. So what we want to do is go. Can we drop it there? No, we can't. So what we'll do is this instead. Yeah, just sorry about people. Just talk amongst yourself. Okay, just going to do that. And then I'm hoping we can show that. Okay, so let's try that. No, it's still not happening. I don't know why it's doing that.
That is really bizarre. We have done this before. I know.
Many times, my friend. Many times. I don't know why it's deciding to do that. What I might do is I might see if I can drop the link into you, my friend, and see if you can share it.
I can share it? Sure.
Yeah, see if that'll work.
Send away.
Okay, just see if you can bring that up so people can see who the happiest countries are, and then what I will do is explain why the happiest country, who is the happiest country, is the happiest country.
All right, can you see that?
I absolutely can. So you want to go to what? Yeah, next one. Next one.
Scroll.
Keep going. Yeah, just keep going. Go till you get to a list. The list should be coming up. There it is.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. See if you can make that bigger. See if you can get it into the last. Just keep making it bigger until people can see it. There we go.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So we will see there that the number one happy country there is Finland. And Finland, as we know, is is meant to have a very good school system, very good health system. It pays more tax than many countries, but there's lots of other things about Finland as well, which doesn't make it as appealing as you would think, but they still and have been the happiest country for the last 4 years running.
Wow.
So I think New Zealand snuck into the top 10.
Yes, they have. Yep.
And Australia has just fallen outside the top 10 at 12.
And they went backwards compared to the year before.
Yes. And I think if we can change governments, we might be able to get in the top 10 again.
Yes. Let's hope so.
That is just my...
That'll just make me happy just straight away.
Well, you and me both. You and me both, and probably many people that listen to this podcast.
Like I read early in the week,
yes.
With the tragedies we've had recently, and GoFundMe page has been set up by ministers with community fundraising events. A lot of these Nordic countries were flabbergasted by that notion of governments relying on others to provide it instead of the government doing it themselves and providing the relief and support financially of all affected.
And that surprises you?
No, it doesn't surprise me at all.
No, it's
they were quite surprised that we're doing all these things like the GoFundMe pages and
as you know, Spud was trying to set up a Go Fuck Yourself page, and and Spud has multiple investment properties, and Spud has some really interesting stuff going on behind the scenes that people do not find out about and do not know about, and the reason they don't is because we don't have an ICAC.
Yes.
But if we did, he would be in so much trouble. Because he, honestly, to goodness gracious me, is bent as a two-bob watch. Honestly.
Yeah. Exactly.
I only got 2 words: friendly Geordies.
Has he attacked him? Has he?
No, but if you go to YouTube and look up friendly Geordies, you'll see
I've seen him.
There's a full investigation that they've done. And and it's not hearsay because there's photos and there's videos. Yeah. So that's pretty hard to lie about that stuff.
Yeah. Well, friendly Geordies was taken to court, I think, in New South Wales over John Barilaro, the ex.
Yep, they won that one.
Premier. Yep. Okay. They did win that one. Okay.
Yep. And then another New South Wales copper tried to take him to court.
Yep.
They won that one as well.
So you can't fight facts, I guess.
That's it. That's it. And also,
Yep.
Friendly Geordies have got. I'd say they've got some pretty smart. I mean, you've only got to listen to them speak. They're not dumb lads. That's. I don't know. I'm not right across Friendly Geordies. I don't know. I haven't had enough sort of information and research, but
Yeah.
I do know that obviously they've got some very smart people behind that. Because the information they've got is damning to say the very, very least. So, but what I thought I would do is, as we always do, we digress, and we have digressed. So we have a look at what is the most unhappiest country on the
Okay. I was just looking at Chile, my birthplace, just to see where they came. And
yeah, where are you?
38.
Yeah, you're
That
pretty
box.
pissed off.
Yeah, well, with COVID in the last couple of years, they've just been, it's a shit show over there.
They've been decimated, haven't they?
Oh, yeah.
You've got a bit of a dictator leader there, don't you? Or
No, that was decades ago, but...
so he or she's quite good, or...
I think they're okay. They're it's never easy in South America leading a country. No. You'll always have protests and unhappy people. And here we go. Oh, is that the end, or is there more? No, that's it.
Zimbabwe. Yeah, actually, if you go down again, you get a better representation, I think. Yeah, there you go. That's a better one.
So what do the colours mean?
Yeah, easier to read. I think the legend is down the bottom, but it's easier to read. There you go. Explained by GDP per capita, explained by health, life expectancy, etc., etc. So, but it is interesting that Finland's had it 4 years in a row, and if you have, who's on 100?
Laos.
Yeah,
beautiful country.
Yeah,
but obviously issues there with government.
So poverty stricken, though. I mean, you know, seriously.
This is a different graph because Afghanistan is last there, not Zimbabwe.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be too happy, would it?
No, I'm sure Ukrainians are going to.
Yeah, I wonder where they are on here. I wonder. Ukraine's 110 there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that was done well before the war, so that's that's interesting in itself. If you just want to scroll just straight up to the top again. Just want to go through a couple of countries that are in the top 10 and see where the US is in particular. No. Go to the other one. It's a better color representation. Okay. It's just easier to read. Yeah. So where's the US? Okay, so the US is nearly 20. Yeah. So what's in front of the US?
The Czech Republic?
Nearly all of Europe. Nearly all of Europe. So the so-called best country in the world is... not very happy, which everything I hear is probably about right. But
interestingly, they're ahead of France. I would have thought the French would be happy.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. Have you been to Paris? No one's been happy.
No one's happy. It's a city of love. Why would I be happy?
You are my lover. Go away. I mean,
interesting.
I mean, Paris. Yeah, I mean, France itself is awesome, but Paris are a bunch of very they remind me of...
Be careful. You might upset the French who are listening.
they remind me of Sydney. Except I'd rather go to Paris than Sydney. I've got to be honest.
Absolutely.
I mean, I do like Sydney's bridge. Don't get me wrong. I really, really do. But I'd much rather go to Paris any day.
Yeah.
But no, they are very uptight. They really are. Seriously,
absolutely.
But if you go right into the regions, etc., they're amazing. They're awesome. And some of the old farmers will probably kill you. But if you look at the doors the wrong way or whatever the situation is.
I've only been to France once, and I love southern France.
Yeah.
Or the Provence area.
Yes.
And where the castles are. Yeah, it's just beautiful.
Yeah. Southern France is lovely, but northern France is beautiful as well. It's like I think Brittany's up that way, and you don't go to northern France because then you get to Calais. That's not beautiful. But no, France is a good country, definitely. But yeah, so that it surprises me that it is that far down. I am very surprised by that. But let's get back on to what we're talking about, which is why is Finland the happiest country in the world for the 4th consecutive year. So I will explain why. And it's really quite interesting because Finland is one of the best places on the planet for natural beauty, with masses of pristine forest and abundance of crystal clear lakes, wildlife, and they support. Finland is beautiful. When you also add low pollution levels and clean air, because they're going to be going emission free by, I think, 2035 or something.
Yeah, something like that. Way before Australia.
Oh, they're just
If
so
Australia ever gets to it.
Oh, Jesus. Anyway, being surrounded by nature and getting out into it has long been known to help them feel happier, as there is so much to see and do outdoors in Finland. It's no wonder why people here are so positive. Now, the interesting thing about that is that it's got a cold climate and 6 months of winter and darkness, and it's still the happiest place in the world.
Yeah.
So, they say it's a chilled out way of life compared to many parts of the Western world. Finland's more laid back. I love the fact they used to say that Australians so laid back. I'm like,
nah.
I don't know where you.
That's long gone.
Oh, God, yeah. Finnish culture is also very warm and focuses on cooperation rather than competition. It's also clear that Finnish people feel secure and do not worry about the outside world in the same way as people in many other nations.
Yeah.
That gives them remarkable resilience to deal with the life and not let problems get on top of them. Also, they have high standards of living, superb education system, apparently #1 in the world again, and low crime levels. So
health would be really good.
Sorry?
Health would be quite well established there, and like the health system.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So one critical measurement for happiness in the recent World Happiness Report was how safe people felt. Finland came out very well here due to its low crime levels. Finland also radically overhauled its education system years ago. So it didn't have it didn't have as good education systems there. So they overhauled it. They actually did something about it. And that's helped people feel more confident. So the school system is one of the fairest in Europe, produces some of the best results, leading to more opportunities for young people. And to be a teacher over there too, I think you have to have a master's.
Yeah, wow. And you get paid well.
Well, you do. You absolutely do. And Finland also has a universal care healthcare system, which is a significant factor in how happy its citizens feel. And when all these factors are combined, Finns have a high standard of living and to feel content in their daily lives. They also pay a lot higher tax than we do. So our government bangs on, bullshits on about how high tax we pay here, and how they try to bang on about we don't want you to pay any more tax. Tell technology, not taxes. That's how we're going to solve climate change. Yeah, bullshit.
So we'll give you a tax deduction at the next election as a sweetener.
Yeah. Well, as you know, the budget's this weekend. The budget.
Yeah, next week sometime, I think.
Big week next week. Gee, we've got lots going on.
Yeah.
And yeah, so obviously they'll give us some bribes. I mean, sweeteners. And they've already said that they're going to give it like these one-off payments to, I think, pensioners and all this bullshit. It's like, stop this short-term shit. Yeah. No one is interested. I mean, what just happened in South Australia right now with Peter Malinauskas is because when he went to the electorate, he said, I'm going to be here for the next 4 years, but I want to do this for the next 20. I want to do this for the next 15 or 10 or whatever it is. But again, long-term thinking and long-term goals of how he wants to put things into place. And, I mean, digressing again. Sorry, say that?
That's the way a government should work.
Well, of course.
Long term, not just for your political future.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things that I fell in love with the guy instantaneously, I think he must be the only leader I've ever heard do a welcome to country before they actually accepted their premiership.
Country, man.
As it were. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, wow. I thought you were going to say that you loved his abs.
No, I didn't see them.
His
six-pack abs, is it?
Oh, yeah.
No. Oh, is he fit, is he?
Oh, fit as.
Oh,
He,
really?
he went swimming with his family at a public pool, and he had his budgie smugglers on, and he was holding one of his kids. But yeah, he is quite ripped. So
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
that was doing the rounds last
Well,
week.
he's not old. He's not my age. He's not 50 odd. He's
That would be in
think
his
he's like
40s.
40, yeah, early
Yeah.
40s.
Yeah, still young.
So, yeah,
Like
yeah,
you.
yeah. No, not like me. I'm young in head, but the body's falling down very, very slowly. But it is happening. But anyway, I wanted to just talk about Peter Malinauskas just for a second, because he also said in that speech about refugees and how we have to do more for them. Now, no one has spoken about that stuff as a prime minister or a premier that I remember. The last time they became leader of their state or whatever. And for me, I was like, man, you have won me instantaneously if that is how you feel. And I don't know if you know, but he also said that the thing that's part of his platform is that they want to bring in a treaty with Indigenous.
Indigenous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not to be a cynic.
Yeah.
But has he said those things because he's got such a big majority that he can be quite progressive and make those statements? Because if he'd won by a small margin, would he be saying the same thing?
I really hope so, because that's what he campaigned on.
Okay.
Campaigned on those things. So
okay, all right.
It wouldn't have been it
like
wouldn't have been a surprise that he was.
Yeah.
I mean, when he talked about a treaty, there was a massive, there was a massive uproar in the room.
Okay.
By the 12 people that were there, but because obviously that's the population of South Australia. But but
they make great wine. Those 12 people.
They do.
Those 12 people.
Things. Yeah. No, absolutely. For a very, very small country. It's funny. Our mate Dave was saying how cool Adelaide is to live in. He said it's like a little country town, but it's just got a lot more amenities.
Yeah, it was cool until he said that he almost started barracking for the Crows.
Yes.
Yeah, that turned me off.
Wasn't good. No. I tend to agree with you there. That put me off slightly as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll wrap this up. One other factor which makes Finland different from most Western countries is the equality, which when they try to talk about equality in this country, as we know, there is a class system. There's an absolute class system. They're trying to get billions of tax cuts out to people that earn over $180,000 and then give them another $9,000 back.
Wow.
And they want to do that permanently.
Oh, wow.
Whereas there's a middle class tax cut that's meant to go to sort of people more like sort of you and I from, you might even be in that bracket, but I'm not. But in a bracket below that, and that is only going to be short term. But the rich bracket's going to be permanent. Yeah, and you're just like, that's not helping anyone apart from the rich. And the bullshit they'll come out with, trickle down my ass.
Yeah, I mean, it's a trickle up.
Because what they'll talk about is they'll say, the rich will spend this, and so this will trickle down into consumer revenue getting into the system and blah blah blah. It's like, but the difference is they might not. They might put it into another house.
Yeah, they'll just invest it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So it does do my nana, and I never understand why people, and it makes no sense to me whatsoever. Anyone that fights for the LNP that earns under 180K, you need your head read. You really don't understand how services work. You've got absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
So anyway, Finland has a very large middle class and very little poverty. The rich in Finland have also, now this is really interesting. The rich in Finland have also traditionally been shy in showing of their wealth.
Oh, wow.
The wealthiest people in Finland may drive an old Volvo or a bit more expensive Merc. but
Wow.
rarely a Lamborghini or some ostentatious vehicle.
Mm.
Even the poorest people would get the best education and healthcare, and no one needs to be homeless. All these, of course, may not make people happy, but it sure makes them content.
Mm.
It should
Content.
be content. This says
Content.
contempt, but it should be content and relaxed. And yeah, no, it probably does. And I tell you what, I'm booking my ticket now. We're moving. We're going there. That's exactly
Yes.
where we're going.
I might go to Denmark because I've got family there. So, and they're in the same boat.
Yes.
It's the same thing. All those
Well,
Nordic countries.
Where were they on the list? Can you bring the list up for me?
Oh, Denmark. Yes.
They got to be in the top 5, surely.
You'd think.
I've seen Danes. They always look happy.
Yes.
Blonde and brown and tall. Why wouldn't they be happy?
Exactly. And again, I think they pay 40%
Very high
tax.
taxes.
Yeah.
Very high taxes. It could even be 50%.
I
But it
think it's
doesn't
closer to
matter.
40, but yeah, it doesn't matter.
It makes no difference. If you're paying 40% tax, like I don't know, I pay about 30% or something. If you're paying 45% tax, but you don't have to pay for any medical, you don't have to pay for any dentist, your utility bills are far cheaper than they are now because they're not getting ripped off by a private vendor.
Yeah.
You know, and all your other services, your AMBOs and all the rest of it, you don't have to have that. And even your insurances are cheaper because maybe they're government run or maybe not or whatever, but maybe there's a different way of doing it. You could pay 40% because, you know, your roads would be better. Everything else, you know, it's...
No wonder there'll be less stress and you'll be happier because you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, exactly right. Can you go up with the other coloured charts? It's just easier to read, mate.
Yeah, so that one is third, according to that
go
one.
Go up. Yep, here we go. Denmark's number 2. There you go.
Number 2 in this one, rank of happiness.
What's the top 5? I mean, basically, the top 7 is Scandinavia, isn't it? The whole Scandinavia.
Except for Switzerland, they're sort of in the middle.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Yeah, they are too.
But yeah, the top 7. Oops. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. The top 7 is pretty much, apart from Switzerland, as you say.
And look at that. New Zealand at 9 is the first non-European country.
Yeah.
All the others are European.
Yeah.
I think we're on the wrong continent.
Well, yeah. We were happy in London, I've got to say. We were. But we had to come back. So,
yeah.
But actually, saying that though, have a look where the UK is.
Yeah, they're 17, just ahead of the US.
Correct. So anyway, that's me out for that. So
awesome. So I think that means
for a bit of.
Hey Dan.
Hey, Wency and the Kegsta, how's it going?
Happy 50th!
That was Dan Illich.
It was when he was on our show for our 50th show.
That was all 21 episodes ago. Wow.
How many? 21?
21 episodes ago. Can you believe that? I
cannot, my friend. It's been a very long time between drinks.
It has.
I'm just, I'm not, oh, here we go. Here we go. We're about to do Indelible Indigenous.
We are.
And I came across something tonight when I was doing some research for the show. And I don't know if anyone else out there has seen this before, but it's fantastic. And as a show, we've signed up to it now. I'm sure Wency would have been on board to do that. So I have done that on our behalf.
Absolutely.
And the idea is that we'd like to play a lot more of their music on this show. Now, the site is indititube.com. I'm just going to 100% double check that because it could be .com.au. There it is, .com.au, and it will be in the show notes. I highly recommend that you go to it if you've never been to it It's got heaps of Indigenous artists on it, and I've just listened to a B-Sticks worth tonight, and nearly all were fantastic. Really,
Sorry, there's a term
really
I haven't heard in a while.
No.
A bee stick.
nearly as big as Trump's hands. But
Yeah,
but yeah, indigitube.com.au. Highly recommend that, and we are hoping with weeks to come that we'll be able to play because they'll allow us to and
More of
promote their music because it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I just want to put that at the top of the bracket. But Wency, most happy if you want to go first.
Not a problem. Okay, so for this segment, I have chosen a story about 5 Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander scientists who were awarded the Australian Academy of Science Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Scientists Award. So this is an award that recognises research in the physical and biological sciences, allowing interdisciplinary and socio-cultural research that could straddle the social sciences and humanities by outstanding Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander PhD students and early and mid-year scientists. So the five recipients who each get about $20,000 or get awarded up to $20,000, provides support to attend various events and towards their research. So the 5 people are Dr. Jordan Pitt from the University of Adelaide, who is looking at the interaction between sea ice and ocean waves in order to improve future climate models. So quite important for climate change analysis and research. Great.
That's fantastic. It's amazing.
We've got Tamara Riley from the ANU. Her project titled, apologies if I get this wrong, Walawin Mayinyi Balugan Mawang, which means well people and animals all together, seeks to understand how the human-animal-environment relationship impacts on Aboriginal communities' health, and then to develop One Health models, in inverted commas, that's the model, to be used in Aboriginal cultures. So I guess that's her way of improving health outcomes for Aboriginal communities using animals and how we interact with them. So, which is great. We've also got Vanessa Sull from the University of New England. Her project addresses the problem of vaccinating against drench-resistant sheep parasites such as brown stomach worms and black scale worms. Those vaccines don't exist at the moment, so she's looking at getting those developed and out into the farming community. We've also got Dr. Kean Wheeler from the University of Queensland.
How long have they been working on those vaccines for, Wency?
It doesn't say, but probably something I might delve into at a later segment for Indelible and maybe focus on 1 or 2 of these people.
Yeah, no, that'd be really good. Really.
Yeah, maybe even get them on the show like we did with Hannah from Tasmania.
Another Hannah. Yes,
Another
she was
Hannah.
magnificent. Yeah.
Yes. So the 4th recipient was Dr. Kean Wheeler from University of Queensland, or UQ as we call that up here. Their work is to redress inequalities in Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander children's health and development. His project involves a co-design process with the Yarrabah Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander community to create a Move to Smile with Culture program, which will combine fundamental movement skills and socio-emotional learning through embedding Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander ways of knowing, being and doing. Because it's shown to build learning capabilities and improve children's development and better prepare them for meaningful life, is what Dr. Wheeler said. And the last recipient, Luke Williams from RMIT in Melbourne, his research involves evaluating the dietary safety of Australian native foods. He aims to develop an evidence-based risk assessment of traditional food products in a manner that considers the stories, knowledge and interests of Aboriginal communities, whilst also meeting the safety data requirements set out by regulatory bodies around the world, which I think is a great idea because Indigenous people in Australia have had access to all these foods for tens of thousands of years, and it's helped so much in their culture. And I think it's great that we should be learning from it.
It's such a no-brainer, isn't it? It
Isn't
really is. I mean, seriously. As you say, I mean, 60, they say 60, it could even be up to 100,000 years that they've been here. I mean, I'm sure they've picked up a few tips on the way. I mean,
I'm sure they have. They know this country like the back of their hands, really.
Just and just sort of just alluding to that. Just listening to the music that I was listening to tonight, although some of it was sort of modern, and some was had a country feel, and some had even a bit of a sort of a funky sort of feel. Every single part of the music, you could always hear something about coming back to country, coming back to the history, coming back to and it was just really interesting. It was like sort of seamlessly woven into the lyrics and sometimes the sort of the beat, etc.
Exactly. Yeah, we need to learn more from them and get them involved in our everyday life.
Yeah, 100% agree. 100% agree. That's and absolutely. I mean, that's one of the reasons that I wanted us so I thought it was so important for us to do a segment like this, so that one, you and I can learn a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely.
And two, anyone listening can learn a lot more. And hopefully, if we can get some of these relationships with the different First Nations groups, obviously this IndigiTube that I've spoken about, and I know we've spoken about different things. And as you said, you had Hannah on from the CSIRO. She was a First Nations scientist, and that sort of thing. And we need to be able to promote, First Nations as much as we can from all different sort of walks of life, not just from sort of, stereotypes of years gone by or whatever. I mean, there is that, there's no doubt, but there's so much more than that. I mean, you've got Pat Turner and Stan Grant, and this just goes on and on and on. So, nice work. Good stuff.
Yeah. So big shout out to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And are you good?
I am done. It's all over to you, bud.
No, beautiful. No, that was excellent. I've decided to go back into history a little bit. I thought I'd just find some yesteryear women, and I just want to say that if there are any Indigenous people listening, and anyone that suffers from epileptic fits, I'm really sorry about my camera at the moment. But if there's any First Nations people listening, I am going to be talking about people that have passed on. So just so you know, if that is of any offence or effect to you. So the lady's name is Gladys Elfic, and she was born in 1904 to 1988, which in itself is pretty damn good for an Indigenous, for starters, and an Indigenous woman. Yeah. Which, just with the history, etc., 84, that's magnificent.
Pretty good effort.
She was a descendant of the Corner, like you, I'll have a crack, Nigajuri people. If there's any Indigenous listening, more than happy to be corrected at any time. Gladys was known to the community simply as Auntie Gladys. She was a women's rights advocate from South Australia, which I thought was quite apt, considering we just had South Australian election, who began active committee work with South Australian Aborigines advancement in 1960s. In 1964, she became the founding president of the South Australian Council of Aboriginal Women, which actively campaigned for the 1967 referendum. Yeah, nice. Gladys was also involved in setting up the Aboriginal Community Centre and College for Aboriginal Education in Adelaide. And to put the cherry on the cake, she also co-founded the South Australian Aboriginal Medical Service.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, she's
Quite a few achievements there.
just a couple.
Just a few.
So the segment is called Indelible Indigenous, and there's a really good reason for that. And again, I've got another indelible Indigenous lady, and she was born 1924 to 1998. And she was all about improving the rights of the equality. Oh, sorry, her name was Essie Coffey, and that's Coffey, and improving the rights of equality of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, and was on the agenda for rights campaigner Essie Coffey. She co-founded the Western Aboriginal Legal Service and Brewarina Aboriginal Heritage and Cultural Museum. She served in the government bodies, community organisations, including the New South Wales Aboriginal Advisory Council and the New South Wales Aboriginal Lands Trust. She was an inaugural member of the Council for Aboriginal Reconciliation and received a medal of the Order of Australia in 1985.
Ooh.
And she gave birth to 18 kids.
Jeez. Wow, she was busy.
I'll say that again. She had 18 kids. She gave birth to 8.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yes.
Still,
So,
8 kids.
yes,
That's busy.
Yes, that's nuts. It's nuts. Any way you look at it, it's pretty nuts. So, so that's the end of my indelible. But I just thought that those two ladies were two out of the Indigenous box, as it were. I mean, it's just phenomenal.
Just the things that they did.
I know.
Getting involved in all that, and which I guess you had to back in the day if you wanted to make a difference.
Well, yeah. Well, to be honest with you, you have to now if you want to make a difference.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and sort of just an adjunct to that, as you know, we've got Mark Kelly on, if people aren't aware. We've got Mark Kelly coming on, I think, the 19th to the 26th of April. So just keep your calendars ready for that one. Mark Kelly's an independent activist / expert. He's also CEO of Surf Industries Australia. He's a pretty accomplished bloke. But as Wency is quite aware, he's all across what's happening with the independents in Australia and where they're faring and how they're faring for the next election. So that will be a very good thing for him to have a chat to us about. And I think a couple of weeks' time, we have a guest on the 5th of April, I believe.
Yes, we do. We have a local councillor here in Brisbane, Councillor Nicole Johnson, who's an independent councillor in the Brisbane City Council region. And I am looking at getting also a Greens candidate for the federal election, Elizabeth Watson-Brown, in April. So it's going to be a busy month for guests in April.
It's going to be amazing. And as we know, just before all of that, I've got the show on that we sort of started right at the start of the show at the Clock Tower, which Wency's going to, which is absolutely astonishing and amazing. And I know Mick and Karen are going on the night you're going. You're going on the Saturday night, I'm assuming?
I haven't booked those tickets, but yes, I will go whatever day Mick's going, so definitely.
Cool. And he's definitely up for beers on the Thursday as well, so he's really excited about that.
Beers.
Yes, beers. Exactly right. So
messy night.
Yeah, no, that should be good. No, that should be very good. So it's a bit of a long show tonight, but I think a really good one. We covered lots of really good stuff. Everything we've spoken about will be in the show notes, but I'll stop talking and I'll let Wency finish off.
Well, that's all from me.
All right, okay.
That's it. I had nothing else. You covered everything. You did a great job.
Oh, my God.
Well, just remember, I've got the L plates on. There, see?
Yes.
I have my L plates. For those listening, I'm pointing at my L plates in the background.
It's all good. It's all good. He is pointing out his L plates, but no, Wency's very much a big cog in this show, and the research is always good, always interesting, and always fun. So until next week, my friend, it's a goodbye from me.
And also me. See you later.
Have a good week, my friend.
You too, mate.
See you, Blitzers. Catch us on the all the Blurt channels, the IG, the TikTok, even YouTube, Twitter, you name it.
Yep.
The new Blurts around. But what you can do is you can put a comment into the podcast when you listen to it,
Yep.
to whether you liked it or not, or write back to us. And we can, we're always happy to look at comments, see what's going on. Always want to improve the show. So,
yep, just
always,
look out for us on Substack.
Yes.
Substack.
Yes.
You can even download the app on iOS.
Absolutely. thenewblurt.substack.com, and as Wency so expertly said, you can now download the app on iOS, which would mean
Apple.
right, okay.
Yes, coming to Android at someday.
That's
we're,
right.
We're the beta testers.
Yeah.
So you get the good stuff.
Yeah.
We get the crap.
Till next